This podcast is supported by patrons. You can find a full list of them in the description of this episode. Hello, listeners and viewers of Good Morning BSS World podcast, where we are finding out news from the BPO GBS World. And today we are going back to Africa, where my frequent guest, Rod Jones, is with us again. Hi, Rod. How are you?
Good afternoon or good day to you, Victor. And thank you very much once again for having me on your show.
And it's my pleasure to host you in here. In between, by the way, so after our call, I had the pleasure to talk to David Gowu from Ghanaian BPO Association. It was a nice talk, very much focused on Ghana. But having you on the show, it means we will cover much wider area than just one country.
Excellent. Well, yes, we were very pleased to have Ghana as a member of the Federation now. And David is a good man to have representing us in Ghana.
He is. That's in fact, he's doing a great job, and he provided us with lots of insights focused on his country and his local federation. So it was a good insight from this land. But as we talk every month, we are going through the whole Africa continent, and I know there is a lot of happening over there, and I know that you will now share it with us.
Excellent. Well, once again, thank you for the opportunity. Yes, I think the highlight of the last month for the Federation was that our SteerCo member for the northern region, Rolana Rushwan from Egypt, was invited to attend the GITEX Africa event in Germany and also then on to the GIZ roadshow in Berlin. So Rolana was flying the flag for the Federation and spreading the word. At GITEX, she was able to network with a lot of BPO operators from Africa, and then on the client side, potential customers from the German industrial and commercial sector. And she was able to present the credentials for the Federation in a number of different forums. She then went on to Berlin, where the GIZ hosted a roadshow, and she met with and presented to the Federation credentials, to the German Ministry of International Development and the Ministry of Digitization. Both ministries very interested to see what the Federation is doing in Africa. Rolana was also able to facilitate a roundtable discussion at that event on the theme of the Federation. And at her table, in fact, we were very pleased to have the support of two of the world's largest operators, Teleperformance and Concentrix, participating in their discussions around the theme of Africa BPO GBS going forward. So a highlight for us was Rolana's work, and our colleague also from East Africa, Von Wiesen Zene from Ethiopia, was also at the event. So we've got a lot of mileage out of that. But moving on, if we have a look at what's been happening in Africa over the last month or so, the Federation hosted a very well attended webinar, over 200 registrations and about 180 participants. We hosted the Digital and AI Revolution, Realities, Responsibilities and Regional Relevance in the context of Africa. It was introduced by Tracy Freeman. I co-facilitated, and our good friend and supporter from Germany, Elvis Malia, was talking AI, and our American friend Stephen Lloyd of Trendsow presented a lot of information, and we debated the impact of AI on GBS and BPO from the American perspective. It was interesting to see that. One of the key themes that came through from the discussions had a lot to do with impact sourcing, but it reinforced the Federation's position that we embrace AI, but a balancing act with job creation. which is a very important thing. So we're looking at it from the point of view, we believe that AI won't eliminate jobs, but will certainly transform them. And we would be looking as the Federation to expand on that. Some of the regional updates as well from Nigeria. Our steerco member for West Africa, Amal Hussain, has been very, very busy in that area. She, as you may know from our last discussions, is driving the government-supported Outsource to Nigeria initiative, and getting a lot of traction there with governments and the investment agencies as well. So she also mentioned that the African Development Bank has partnered with the Outsource to Nigeria, and there are 7 BPO providers in Nigeria who are members of the association, who are going to be benefiting from the African Bank initiatives. Let's see what else. Ghana, we were talking before we started recording. Ghana certainly coming aboard now. BOSAG, which is the association, Ghanaian Association for BPO and GBS. Very well constructed, in place now. I was looking at their website a few days ago, and so Ghana is now firmly a member of the Federation. An interesting one popped up as well through the work that Amal is doing is Benin. So the Republic of Benin has a Center of Excellence and a fledgling BPO GBS Association. And so in the fullness of time, we look forward to welcoming Benin into the Western region of the Federation. Egypt's thriving and moving ahead. Rolana spent a lot of time in Germany this last month, so we don't have too much to report on Egypt. But in the North Africa region, Morocco's National Association has been confirmed as the official federation contact. So they are undergoing the processes to join the federation. So hopefully in the next few months we will have Morocco adding to our northern region under the Morocco Now brand, which is the way they're taking it to market. Ethiopia, always on the wrap for us, is and we're very excited because the Elevate Africa conference event is taking place in Addis Ababa in September, and we are looking to host a steerco and board meeting of the Federation's members and the advisory board concurrently with the Elevate Africa conference. And the other activities with the Federation, we are in the process of finalizing the advisory board, which we should be able to announce the members of that board in the next month or two. The role of the advisory board, we have several globally recognized BPO specialist advisors, people of high standing, a lot of experience. I won't mention names at this point, but the Federation has the privilege of being able to lean heavily on some of the world's most experienced people in the BPO GBS space. The association, the Federation, now has an association handbook, which we've compiled. And this is a handbook for the establishment and operation of a BPO GBS association. We are finding that in some of the countries that we are engaging with, the likes of Namibia, Zambia, Mozambique, Mauritius, where we have a lot of interest and some operators, but we don't have formal structures. So we've published now a handbook for assisting fledgling associations to get properly constituted and formalized. So that really is where we've been in the last month. Looking ahead, we are planning webinars every month. Next month, we'll be talking about the realities and the opportunities across Africa, and we're targeting the messaging into the US and into Europe and the UK, and be discussing some of the features that we have within Africa, some of the talents, some of the opportunities, and some of the challenges we experience. And that's really where we are at the moment. It's been a busy month, and we'll be progressing forward and getting the next level of structure into the federation.
Thank you very much for this. I, in fact, was in Berlin as well. So I met a lot of people from various countries. There were representatives, I think, of over 20 different countries and various organizations. Some of them were the providers of BPO or IT services. Some of them were representing the associations. There was even one minister of IT from one of the countries. So it was really, really seriously treated by a number of people who were visiting Berlin those a few weeks ago. And I did enjoy a lot of talks. I met Rolana in person
Oh,
as well, so
excellent,
it
excellent.
was good to meet her as well. I did talk a lot to Elvis. He is doing a great job, to be honest. He's absolutely knowing a lot of people. Everybody knows Elvis.
That's right. Now, he's a great supporter of the federation, and I'm led to believe that towards the end of the year we'll be seeing him out here in South Africa as well on a road on a road trips as well. So yes, we look forward to that.
Yeah, he's got a lot of contacts, a lot of know-how. He knows a lot of people, so it was really an interesting part of this event. That talking to one person, you could know everyone. Yeah, so it was really really well done. Coming back to your updates, I made a lot of notes as usual, and two of them I have underlined. One of them is Benin. This is first time ever that we were talking about Benin, so it's a new country on my notes and on the podcast as well. So we will see how it goes in the coming months. What are the news coming from Benin? And the second, absolutely great to listen this, to hear this, that the federation has this association handbook. This might be like a good guide for any of other countries to support them in creating their own associations and to be a part of the federation of as such.
Yes, indeed. We rushed it a little bit, so we call it a work in progress. But version one of the handbook is certainly available and on request from any
Sure.
organization or group of. We're finding groups of BPO operators and allied um, service providers with interest, high interest, but no idea how to go about it. So we rushed through version one. We're working now on version two, which has not only got guidelines and best practices, but we're also providing templates for research surveys, for follow-up emails, etc. So that'll be available in the next month or two as well.
Yeah, perfect. This sounds really really good because some of the countries, some of people are just not aware how to do right this part of the job. Yeah, so it's definitely helpful to guide them somehow. I also put some notes about this AI, which appears everywhere. So I can also imagine that this is one of those topics which are currently being discussed in any conversations when it comes to the BPO or to outsourcing in general. In Europe, we have the same, to be honest.
Yeah, in fact, I think it's top of mind everywhere. And yesterday, in fact, I hosted and co-facilitated a webinar on the topic of practical implications of AI, and it was interesting to hear the various speakers, and in fact, a lot of questions coming up from the attendees on the webinar. We had over 150 registrations for the webinar. A lot of confusion, a lot of caution in the not just in the BPO space, but in the broader customer experience CX space. On the one hand, we have the vendors pushing hard to get AI deployment in their applications. A lot of the operators are, in my personal opinion, jumping too fast into the world of automated agent responses, etc. So there's a word of caution out there is allow these tools to develop and mature and to be road tested to some great extent. But it was a fascinating discussions yesterday, and was interesting to hear some of the guardrails and the regulatory environment, particularly in Europe, which I think we in the rest of Africa will probably follow the European models rather than the American models, which appears not to have any real um, frameworks for regulations. But we'll see if that evolves.
Yeah, we will see. We are in Europe. Everyone is very closely looking into this area. So definitely a hot topic. And the last but not least, I have put down this note about Ethiopia and this September event. Yeah, which is going to be organized over there.
Yeah, the September event is it's called Elevate Africa. It was also held last year, I believe. I was invited, but I was traveling elsewhere at that time. But this is going to bring together analysts and operators to really showcase, in this case, East Africa.
Okay. My question corresponding to that was who should be interested to participate in that? Because I understand this is an open event where people can register to, or is it closed one?
I'm led to believe the Elevate Africa is a by invitation
Okay.
event. Then the Africa Federation likewise is a by invitation, but we'll be looking at the presidents or the chairs of the national bodies who are members of the federation, our steerco, our advisory board members, and then we would like some of the recognized analysts and thought leaders in BPO GBS. We would also invite them in as well. A lot depends, of course, on funding. So we are in discussions with some of the funding partners, but it's looking very positive for us. And that will be a watershed for the Federation because that will be the time when the framework and the steering committee will give over to a duly elected board of directors and some of the recommendations for structure, governance issues, etc., will be ratified by the board, and then the federation will move ahead.
So fingers crossed for a proper organization of it and the next steps which will follow that. Okay, Rod, did we miss anything for today?
I think we've covered everything. I said those are the high points of this last month or so. We've got a lot of more activities coming through, so we'll be able to report back on some, hopefully, some more members joining during June and July.
I am more than sure there is going to, a lot to happen within the next coming weeks. So we will make sure to cover the top stories from Africa in a month time from now. So sometime in the middle of July, and we will see how it goes.
Excellent. And once again, thank you very much for the ongoing support of your organization for the Federation.
Thank you very much, Rod. It's always a pleasure to get those insights. So now I have a Benin on my list of another countries to go a little bit deeper into. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you, Wiktor.